Showroom floors, once packed with chrome and steel, now echo with silence. Legendary names that ruled American highways for generations are watching sales crash at a pace no one thought possible. And here's the shocking part. This isn't a temporary slump. It's the final chapter for brands that helped write the story of motorcycle culture. Dealership doors are closing, production lines are slowing, and collectors are quietly offloading bikes before values nosedive. If you've been dreaming of owning one of these machines, your window is closing fast. Today, we're counting down 7 motorcycle manufacturers teetering on the edge of extinction. Stay with me until number 1, because if it's sitting in your garage right now, industry insiders say you could be holding the most dangerous investment in two-wheeled America. Number 7. The Milwaukee legend losing its roar. Rolling through small-town America, the distinctive potato-potato exhaust note once announced arrival like a conquering hero returning home. This brand didn't just sell motorcycles, it sold identity, rebellion, and the raw spirit of American independence. But something's broken in that equation, and the cracks are spreading faster than anyone wants to admit. Walk into dealerships across the heartland today, and you'll see something unsettling. Rows of pristine machines gathering dust where eager buyers once crowded. The brand that once represented accessible rebellion now carries price tags that shock even affluent enthusiasts. Entry-level models push past the $17,000 mark before fees, markups, and accessories transform a motorcycle purchase into a luxury car decision. The cultural foundation is crumbling beneath the chrome. Workers who once saved for months to afford their first bike now find themselves priced out entirely. The next generation sees these machines as expensive antiques rather than symbols of freedom. Attempts at modernization, electric powertrains, touchscreen interfaces, sophisticated electronics have alienated the core audience without attracting enough new blood to compensate. More troubling is the identity crisis spreading through every marketing message and model lineup. The brand once spoke clearly to blue-collar rebels and weekend warriors. Now it struggles to define itself, caught between heritage purists demanding authenticity and younger demographics expecting innovation. The result satisfies neither group fully, leaving both questioning their loyalty. Manufacturing costs continue climbing while competition intensifies from brands offering similar experiences at lower prices. Quality concerns have surfaced across multiple model years, damaging the reputation for bulletproof reliability that took decades to build. Service departments report longer wait times for parts, frustrated customers, and declining satisfaction scores. The touring segment shows particular weakness. Riders investing $30,000 or more in premium machines expect flawless execution and cutting-edge technology. When they discover comparable or superior features on competing brands for significantly less money, brand loyalty evaporates quickly. Word spreads through riding communities faster than bad weather warnings. But here's what makes this decline so painful to watch. The engineering talent remains exceptional. The company still produces machines capable of delivering incredible experiences. Yet somewhere between corporate boardrooms and showroom floors, the connection with riders has been severed. What was once an emotional purchase based on identity and belonging has become a financial calculation that increasingly favors the competition. The question haunting industry analysts isn't whether this legendary brand will survive, it's what form survival will take. A boutique manufacturer serving collectors, a technology company focused on electric mobility, or can they rediscover the formula that once made them indispensable to American motorcycle culture? The next brand thought it could challenge this Milwaukee giant until it forgot who it was fighting for. Number 6. The challenger that lost its soul. Thunder rolled across American highways when this brand roared back to life under new ownership. For a brief, shining moment, it looked like the Milwaukee monopoly finally had a worthy challenger. Veterans of motorcycle culture remembered the original glory days when this name carried weight equal to any machine on the road. But resurrection and relevance are different things entirely. The bikes themselves showcase impressive engineering, solid powertrains, refined suspension systems, and attention to detail that rivals or surpasses the competition. Yet something intangible has been lost in translation, the spiritual connection that transforms metal and machinery into cultural artifacts. Riders respect the quality but struggle to fall in love with the experience. Marketing missteps have compounded the problem. A logo redesign triggered fierce backlash from loyalists who saw it as corporate betrayal of sacred heritage. Digital campaigns targeting younger demographics alienated older riders who felt abandoned by the brand they'd supported through difficult years. The result? Confusion about identity that spreads doubt throughout the entire customer base. Dealership infrastructure remains the most practical obstacle. While competitors maintain coast-to-coast networks with consistent service standards, this brand operates through scattered outlets with uneven support quality. Riders planning cross-country tours hesitate to trust machines when service availability becomes uncertain 2 states away. That uncertainty kills sales among the touring demographic that represents the highest profit margins. Production numbers tell the story clearly. Despite capable machines and competitive pricing, market share continues declining. Showroom traffic has dropped in key regions where the brand once commanded respect. Dealers report customer confusion about positioning, purpose, and long-term viability. When potential buyers can't articulate why they should choose this brand over established alternatives, sales conversations stall. The touring models demonstrate particular challenges. While mechanically sound, they lack the ecosystem of accessories, customization options, and cultural support that serious long-distance riders demand. Harley's touring community is built on decades of shared experiences, established routes, and proven reliability. Breaking into that world requires more than engineering excellence. It demands cultural credibility that can't be manufactured overnight. Youth market penetration remains weak despite targeted efforts. Younger riders gravitating toward motorcycles often choose sport bikes, adventure machines, or retro-styled alternatives that offer clearer value propositions. The American cruiser segment that this brand targets skews older and more conservative, making dramatic gains nearly impossible without generational shifts in motorcycle preferences. Financial performance reflects these challenges. While not facing immediate extinction, the brand operates in a precarious position where small market disruptions could trigger serious consequences. Parent company resources remain committed, but patience isn't infinite when returns fail to meet projections quarter after quarter. The tragedy lies in untapped potential. These machines offer genuine alternatives to established choices, often with superior engineering and competitive pricing. But in a market driven by emotion, heritage, and cultural belonging, technical superiority alone isn't enough. Without deeper connection to riding culture, even excellent motorcycles become expensive curiosities. What happens when excellence isn't enough? The next brand discovered that financial reality can crush even the most thrilling machines. Number 5. The performance pioneer that pushed too hard. Orange flames blazed across racetracks and adventure trails when this Austrian manufacturer burst onto the global scene. Known for pushing boundaries and delivering razor-sharp performance, they captured imaginations among riders who craved intensity over comfort. But aggressive expansion and financial overreach transformed cutting-edge innovation into a cautionary tale about growing too fast, too ambitiously. The engineering remained impressive even as corporate foundations cracked. Lightweight frames, sophisticated suspension systems, and competition-bred engines delivered experiences that competitors struggled to match. Adventure riders and track enthusiasts recognized the superior technology packed into these machines. Yet technical brilliance couldn't compensate for deteriorating support infrastructure and mounting reliability concerns. Financial restructuring in recent years revealed the depth of internal problems. Development programs halted mid-cycle, leaving anticipated models in limbo. Engineering teams faced layoffs just as competition intensified from better-funded rivals. Planned expansion into emerging markets collapsed, stranding dealers who'd invested in inventory and training for products that would never materialize. American market penetration suffered particularly severe damage. The brand's identity, aggressive, experimental, uncompromising, appealed to a narrow demographic that wasn't large enough to sustain ambitious growth targets. Older American riders, who represent the bulk of premium motorcycle purchases, found these machines too demanding, too maintenance-intensive, and too unreliable for their preferred riding styles. Service network inadequacy became a critical failure point. While European and urban American markets maintained reasonable dealer coverage, vast regions of the United States lacked competent service facilities. Riders considering adventure touring or long-distance travel couldn't risk machines that might strand them hundreds of miles from qualified technicians. Word spread quickly through riding communities about service nightmares and warranty disputes. The learning curve for these high-performance machines proved steeper than anticipated. Unlike user-friendly cruisers or standard motorcycles, these bikes demanded expertise and frequent attention. Older riders accustomed to simpler maintenance routines found themselves overwhelmed by complex electronics, aggressive power delivery, and finicky temperaments that punished inexperienced handling. Parts availability became inconsistent as financial pressures mounted. Dealers reported delays in routine maintenance items, forcing customers to wait weeks for basic services. Warranty claims faced bureaucratic obstacles that frustrated both dealers and customers. The reputation for performance excellence couldn't survive systematic failures in customer support and parts supply chains. Competition intensified from manufacturers who offered similar performance with better reliability and support networks. Japanese and European rivals matched or exceeded the technical innovations while providing superior ownership experiences. Price advantages eroded as production costs rose and economies of scale disappeared. The brand's racing heritage, once a powerful marketing asset, became irrelevant to practical motorcycle ownership. Track victories don't matter when your bike breaks down on a Sunday ride or leaves you stranded during vacation touring. Performance credentials that impressed motorcycle journalists failed to translate into sustainable sales among real-world riders. What stings most is how close they came to succeeding. The engineering vision was sound, the execution often brilliant, and the riding experience genuinely thrilling. But sustainable business requires more than great products. It demands financial discipline, market understanding, and infrastructure investment that this manufacturer couldn't balance successfully. Some brands collapse spectacularly, others simply fade away. The next one tried to build an empire but forgot to lay the foundation. Number 4. The American Revolution that never happened. Picture this: sleek lines cutting through morning mist, a powerful V-twin engine delivering torque without theatrics, and engineering that prioritized performance over nostalgia. For one brief moment in motorcycle history, it looked like American riders might have a genuine alternative to Milwaukee tradition. This wasn't heritage repackaged. It was revolution engineered from scratch. The machines themselves impressed everyone who rode them. Stiffer frames eliminated the flex that plagued traditional cruisers. Fuel injection delivered smooth power across the rev range. Modern suspension components provided handling that embarrassed competitors, costing thousands more. Independent tests consistently ranked these bikes above established alternatives for performance, comfort, and reliability. Yet technical superiority never translated into cultural relevance. In motorcycle culture, specifications matter less than stories. While competitors could reference decades of movies, music, and mythology, this brand had only engineering excellence and corporate backing. Riders respected the quality but couldn't connect emotionally with machines that lacked soul, history, or cultural significance. Marketing struggled to define clear identity. Was this a performance brand challenging sport bike dominance? A touring company focused on comfort and technology? A cruiser manufacturer targeting Harley's stronghold? The confusion spread from boardrooms to showrooms, leaving dealers unable to articulate compelling reasons for choosing these bikes over established alternatives. Sales climbed initially as early adopters and performance enthusiasts embraced the superior engineering. Motorcycle journalists praised the innovation and value. Dealers reported positive customer feedback and strong repeat business. For a moment, it seemed like American motorcycle manufacturing might finally break free from retro styling and heritage marketing. Then corporate priorities shifted. Parent company resources focused on acquiring and revitalizing a competitor with deeper historical roots and stronger cultural connections. Overnight, this revolutionary brand became surplus inventory. Production ceased, development stopped, and thousands of riders found themselves owning motorcycles from a company that no longer existed. The discontinuation created immediate chaos. Parts availability became uncertain as production lines shut down. Dealer networks dissolved or shifted focus to other brands. Resale values plummeted as buyers avoided motorcycles with questionable long-term support. Warranty coverage remained valid, but service quality declined as technicians lost familiarity with unique systems and components. Owners who loved their bikes faced difficult decisions. Some held on to machines they knew were exceptional, accepting the risk of owning orphaned motorcycles. Others traded quickly, taking financial losses to avoid future uncertainty. The enthusiast community that had embraced the brand felt betrayed by corporate decisions that prioritized spreadsheets over rider loyalty. The touring models particularly suffered from this abandonment. Riders investing $15,000 to $25,000 in premium machines expected decades of reliable service and support. When that assurance evaporated overnight, the value proposition collapsed entirely. Even technically superior motorcycles become liabilities when manufacturers abandon them without warning. What makes this story so tragic is the unnecessary waste of potential. These weren't failed experiments or flawed designs. They were genuinely excellent motorcycles killed by corporate strategy rather than market rejection. The engineering team had solved real problems that plagued traditional American cruisers, delivering performance and refinement that impressed critics and riders alike. The legacy haunts the industry still. Abandoned dealer networks, orphaned owners, and a generation of riders who learned that innovation alone isn't enough to guarantee survival. In motorcycle culture, belonging matters more than excellence, and this brand never figured out how to belong to anything larger than itself. Sometimes brands die from scandal. Sometimes they fade from neglect. The next one imploded from betrayal. Number 3. The British legend brought low by greed. Cafe racers gleaming under London streetlights, racing victories at legendary circuits, a name that commanded respect from riders who understood the difference between mere transportation and mechanical artistry. This British manufacturer carried heritage that money couldn't buy and history that competitors envied. But greed and corruption destroyed in months what took generations to build. The scandal broke like a thunderclap across the motorcycle world. Financial misconduct allegations surfaced alongside reports of customers left empty-handed after paying deposits for bikes that would never be delivered. Former employees described unpaid wages, unsafe working conditions, and a company culture that prioritized personal enrichment over product delivery or customer service. Riders who had waited months or years for custom builds found themselves holding worthless receipts. Some bikes were partially assembled and abandoned. Others were completed with substandard components that failed quickly. The quality control that once defined this legendary brand disappeared entirely as resources were diverted from production to personal accounts. Media investigations revealed the scope of deception. Deposits meant for motorcycle production funded luxury lifestyles and questionable investments. Company assets vanished while customers and employees suffered. The racing heritage and engineering excellence that justified premium pricing became props in an elaborate fraud that devastated trust across the entire industry. Acquisition by new ownership brought financial stability but couldn't immediately restore credibility. Production resumed with promises of improved quality and customer service. New models appeared with updated styling and modern components, yet the damage to brand reputation created obstacles that engineering excellence alone couldn't overcome. American market penetration remains minimal despite technical improvements. Dealers hesitate to commit floor space to brands with uncertain futures and damaged reputations. Customers avoid motorcycles from manufacturers they can't trust for long-term support. Even excellent products struggle when brand credibility has been shattered by scandal and betrayal. The current lineup showcases genuine capability. Updated powertrains deliver performance that matches or exceeds historical standards. Styling remains distinctively British with modern refinements that appeal to contemporary tastes. Build quality has improved significantly under new management, with better quality control and attention to detail. Yet market response remains tepid despite product improvements. The brand operates in limbo between its glorious past and uncertain future. Enthusiasts who remember the glory days approach new models with skepticism rather than enthusiasm. Younger riders often choose alternatives with clearer value propositions and more reliable support networks. Parts availability and service support create additional concerns for potential buyers. While new ownership promises long-term commitment, the practical infrastructure for supporting these motorcycles remains underdeveloped in most American markets. Riders considering premium purchases want assurance that their investment will be protected by comprehensive support systems. The tragedy extends beyond financial loss to cultural damage. This brand represented British engineering excellence and racing heritage that enriched global motorcycle culture. When that legacy becomes tainted by scandal and betrayal, the entire industry suffers. Trust, once broken, requires years to rebuild, if it can be rebuilt at all. Racing victories from decades past feel distant when current reliability remains questionable. Heritage marketing rings hollow when recent history includes fraud and abandonment. Even successful new models carry the burden of damaged reputation that affects everything from resale value to parts availability. What's particularly heartbreaking is the unnecessary nature of this collapse. The brand possessed everything needed for success: engineering talent, racing heritage, distinctive styling, and passionate customers. Corporate greed destroyed what generations of engineers, racers, and craftsmen had built through dedication and excellence. Some brands fade gracefully into history. Others burn out in spectacular failure. This one chose betrayal over honor, and the motorcycle world is poorer for that choice. The next brand carries even older heritage, but age alone can't save manufacturers who've lost their way. Number 2. The Italian Ancestor running out of time. Eagles soaring over alpine passes. Transverse Vi-twins growling through ancient European villages, a manufacturer whose roots stretch back to the dawn of motorcycle history when innovation meant survival and character mattered more than marketing. This Italian legend helped define what motorcycles could become, but that history may not be enough to secure its future. The engineering philosophy remains distinctively different in an industry trending towards standardization. Where competitors chase horsepower numbers and electronic sophistication, this brand pursues mechanical honesty and rider connection. The unique engine configuration creates character that can't be replicated through computer programming or marketing campaigns. Yet character alone doesn't pay bills or fill showrooms. Production numbers hover around 10,000 units annually. Impressive for boutique manufacturers, but inadequate for global competition. Limited volume means higher per unit costs, reduced economies of scale, and minimal resources for research and development that could modernize aging platforms. American market presence has shrunk to near invisibility. Dealership networks that once spanned coast to coast now cluster in major metropolitan areas, leaving vast regions without sales or service support. Riders considering these motorcycles face the same infrastructure challenges that plague other European brands. Where do you get service when something breaks? The demographic attracted to these machines skews older and more traditional. Riders who appreciate mechanical simplicity and distinctive character over cutting-edge technology. But that audience shrinks each year as age takes its toll, and younger riders choose alternatives with better support networks and modern features. Model development proceeds at a leisurely pace that modern markets don't tolerate. While competitors introduce updated versions annually with improved electronics, revised styling, and enhanced performance, this manufacturer maintains platforms for decades with minimal changes. That consistency appeals to purists but frustrates riders who expect continuous improvement. Parts availability creates anxiety for owners who venture beyond major metropolitan areas. While routine maintenance items remain accessible, specialized components can require weeks or months to obtain. For touring riders who depend on reliable transportation, that uncertainty makes ownership impractical regardless of how much they appreciate the riding experience. The brand's boutique positioning protects it from direct comparison with mass-market alternatives, but also limits growth potential. Riders willing to pay premium prices for distinctive character represent a small segment that can't support extensive dealer networks or aggressive development programs. It's a sustainable niche if carefully managed, but not a foundation for growth or innovation. Quality control has improved significantly in recent years, addressing reliability concerns that once plagued these motorcycles. Modern production techniques and better materials have eliminated many of the quirks that gave the brand character but frustrated owners. Yet that improvement comes at the cost of some personality that attracted enthusiasts in the first place. Competition from manufacturers who offer similar character with better reliability and support networks continues intensifying. BMW's Boxer engines provide comparable uniqueness with superior infrastructure. Triumph delivers British character with modern reliability. Even Harley's touring machines offer distinctive personality with comprehensive support systems. The current lineup includes genuinely appealing motorcycles that deliver unique experiences unavailable elsewhere. The V85 Adventure Bike combines retro styling with modern capability. The V9 series offers accessible entry points into the brand's distinctive philosophy. Yet none of these models generate sufficient volume to ensure long-term viability. Cultural relevance has faded among younger riders who grew up with Japanese reliability and German engineering precision. The mechanical quirks that older enthusiasts found charming, unique maintenance procedures, distinctive engine characteristics, occasional electrical gremlins, feel antiquated to riders raised on modern standards of refinement and reliability. What's most frustrating is the untapped potential. With proper investment in dealer infrastructure, modernized electronics, and expanded model ranges, this brand could appeal to broader audiences while maintaining its distinctive character. But such investment requires financial resources that low production volumes can't generate, a classic catch-22 that traps many boutique manufacturers. The heritage is real, the engineering distinctive, and the riding experience genuinely unique. But heritage alone can't overcome shrinking demographics, limited infrastructure, and competition from better-funded alternatives. Time may be running out for this Italian ancestor unless dramatic changes happen soon. Our final brand thought it was extinct, then returned from the dead only to face an even grimmer fate. After diving deep into industry data and market trends, it's clear that even legendary brands aren't immune to extinction. Which manufacturer do you think has the best chance of survival? Drop your thoughts below and make sure to subscribe. We're posting weekly analysis that reveals what's really happening behind the showroom doors. Number 1. The American sport bike that can't find home. Lightning wrapped in carbon fiber and controversy. A name that once promised to revolutionize American performance, riding with radical engineering and uncompromising design. Born from racing ambition and innovative thinking, this manufacturer created motorcycles that redefined what American-made sport bikes could achieve. But innovation without infrastructure creates orphans, and this brand has been homeless for so long that even its return feels uncertain. The engineering achievements remain genuinely impressive. Perimeter frame designs that stiffen chassis without adding weight, underslung exhaust systems that improved mass centralization, fuel and frame concepts that optimized weight distribution while maintaining aggressive styling. These weren't incremental improvements, they were fundamental reimaginations of sport bike architecture. Performance figures backed up the radical engineering. Track testing revealed capabilities that embarrassed established European competitors, handling precision, braking performance, and straight-line acceleration numbers that proved American engineers could compete with the best manufacturers worldwide. Motorcycle journalists consistently praised the technical achievements even when questioning commercial viability. Yet technical brilliance couldn't overcome systematic infrastructure failures. Dealer networks never achieved the coverage necessary for nationwide support. Service training remained inconsistent, leaving many technicians unprepared for unique systems and components. Parts availability suffered from limited production volumes and disrupted supply chains that frustrated owners and dealers alike. The brand's history reads like a cautionary tale in corporate mismanagement. Multiple ownership changes, production shutdowns, revival attempts, and strategic reversals created confusion that persists today. Potential customers couldn't trust long-term support when the manufacturer's own future remained uncertain from year to year. Market positioning never found stable ground. Were these track-focused machines for serious sport bike enthusiasts? Street-friendly performance bikes for everyday riders? Limited production collectibles for wealthy enthusiasts? The identity crisis spread from marketing materials to showroom floors, leaving dealers unable to articulate clear value propositions. Manufacturing resumed recently with promises of stability and improved support. New models showcase updated styling and modern electronics that address previous shortcomings. Quality control has improved significantly, eliminating many of the assembly issues that plagued earlier production runs. Yet market reception remains cautious despite product improvements. The demographic challenge proves particularly difficult. Sport bike sales have declined industry-wide as riders gravitate toward adventure touring, naked bikes, and retro-styled alternatives. The shrinking market for aggressive sport bikes makes success more difficult even for established manufacturers with comprehensive support networks. Dealer recruitment faces obstacles created by brand history. Motorcycle retailers remember previous false starts, abandoned customers, and financial losses from carrying orphaned inventory. Convincing them to invest in new products from this manufacturer requires overcoming years of negative experiences and broken promises. Parts availability remains a critical concern for potential buyers. While current production uses modern components with broader availability, earlier models require specialized parts that may become unavailable if production ceases again. The risk of owning an orphan motorcycle discourages many buyers regardless of current product quality. Competition from established manufacturers intensifies every model year. European brands offer similar performance with proven reliability and comprehensive support networks. Japanese alternatives provide superior value propositions with lower prices and extensive dealer coverage. Breaking into this competitive landscape requires more than engineering excellence. It demands sustained commitment and infrastructure investment. Resale values reflect market uncertainty about long-term viability. Even excellent motorcycles lose value quickly when buyers question manufacturer stability. The secondary market that supports premium sport bike purchases doesn't exist for brands with uncertain futures, making these machines poor investments regardless of riding quality. The enthusiast community that should support this brand remains small and fragmented. Without critical mass of owners sharing experiences, organizing events, and creating culture around the motorcycles, mainstream acceptance becomes nearly impossible. Great bikes need great communities, and communities require time and stability to develop. What makes this situation so tragic is the genuine capability these motorcycles offer. They deliver performance experiences that justify their premium pricing. The engineering innovations benefit the entire industry even when commercial success proves elusive. Yet none of that matters when basic business fundamentals, dealer support, parts availability, brand stability remain unresolved. Manufacturing motorcycles requires more than engineering talent and racing heritage. It demands patient capital, systematic infrastructure development, and unwavering commitment to customer support. This brand has demonstrated the first qualities repeatedly, but struggled with the foundation elements that ensure survival. The window for resurrection may be closing. Sport bike markets continue shrinking while competition intensifies from better-funded alternatives. Each failed revival attempt makes the next one more difficult as credibility erodes and potential partners lose confidence. Time may be running out for this innovative but troubled manufacturer. Some brands disappear because they can't compete. Others fail because they can't connect with riders. This one might vanish because it could never stay in one place long enough to build the foundation that sustainable success requires. The motorcycle industry loses something valuable when innovative manufacturers disappear. This brand pushed boundaries, challenged conventions, and created machines that advanced the entire sport. Its potential extinction represents more than business failure. It's the loss of American engineering ambition and performance innovation that the industry needs. Whether this troubled genius can finally find stability remains the great unknown. The engineering talent exists. The product capability has been proven, but infrastructure, credibility, and market confidence take years to build, and this manufacturer may have run out of chances to try again. Which brands do you think will survive the current shakeout? Are there manufacturers we missed that deserve attention? Share your predictions in the comments below and make sure to subscribe for weekly analysis of the trends reshaping motorcycle culture. The industry needs riders who understand what's really happening behind the marketing messages and showroom displays. The future belongs to manufacturers who remember that motorcycles are more than machines. They're cultural artifacts that connect riders to communities, experiences, and identities. The brands that forget this lesson won't survive, regardless of how impressive their engineering might be.